what I'm gonna do is gonna read only the Philippine history. Theories of the formation of Philippines. Geographical location. Land bridge theory theorizes that the Philippines was once part of mainland Asia. It was a land mass bridging the Asian continent to Indonesia, New Guinea up to the Australian continent. That's the first theory. Then second is volcanic origin, proposed by Dr. Bailey Willis. Philippines came into existence after eruptions of volcanoes beneath the Pacific Ocean. 3. Legend of Mu or Lemuria. Philippines. A. Geographical location. 1. Land bridge theory theorizes that the Philippines was once part of mainland Asia. It was a land mass bridging the Asian continent to Indonesia, New Guinea or New Guinea up to the Australian continent. Volcanic origin, this is the second. Proposed by Dr. Bailey Willis. Philippines came into existence after eruptions of volcanoes beneath the Pacific Ocean. 3. Legend of Mu or Lemuria. Both the Philippines and Indonesia were then part of the Pacific continent called Mu or Lemuria, which sunken during the prehistoric period, influenced by the legend of the lost continent of Atlantis. 4. Legend of Manaul, a mythical bird. 5. Continental drift theory. Anyway, I didn't own the materials that I'm using, and it belongs to its rightful owners. B. Peopling of islands. 1. Creation theory. Biblical account Genesis 10, 1 to 4. It's Genesis 10, chapter 10, verse 1 to 4. 2. Migration theory, proposed by Henry Otley Beyer. First, Dawn men through land bridge. Second, Atas or Negritos through land bridge. Third, Indonesians through boats. Fourth, Malays through boats also. Then 3. Evolution theory. 4. Sikalak and Sabkahay. Take note, archipelagos name year kay ang early Chinese traders kay wala siya year. Ang tawag po sa ila, Mai. 1521, Ferdinand Magellan. Ang tawag nila sa Pilipinas kay Islas de San Lazaro, Archipelago of Saint Lazarus. 1543, Roy Lopez de Villalobos, Filipinas in honor of Prince of Asturias. 1751, Father Juan de J. Delgado. 1751, Father Juan J. Delgado, Pearl of the Orient. 1896, Dr. Jose Rizal, Pearl of the Orient Seas. Pearl of the Orient Seas. American period kay Philippine Island ilang tawag. 1946, Republic of the Philippines. Artemio Ricarte, Rizalin Republic. Ferdinand Marcos Maharlika. 2. Pre-colonial Philippines A government. Barangay is the pre-colonial political unit. Barangay is the pre-colonial political unit which is composed of 30 to 100 families. Dato or Raha, chieftain ruler of the barangay or in the Muslim community. The Dato exercise executive, legislative, and judicial powers. B. Economics, hunting, gathering, and system, gold, salt, barter, money, gold, salt, rice ang medium nila. Industry, iron working, boat building, pottery, weaving, gold working. Agriculture kay subsistence farming and horticulture. Trade and commerce, foreign and domestic. C. Social class. Ito siya ang economics. Social class kay the social ranks were as follows. 1. The datuk class or the ruling class. 2. The maharlika or the aristocracy. 3. The timawa. The timagwa lagi. Ang pangalan, ang spelling kay Tima, Timagua. Ang pagbasa niya kay Timagwa pero ang pagpronounce kay Timawa. Of the common class and the alipin. 4. Muni ang alipin, also known as uripon among the Visayans, or the dependent class. Bastos kayo, no? Nanapo ko. Kasi asan ako? Nawala na ang sipon. The Boxer Codex, an anonymous late 15th century manuscript, mentioned that only men were qualified for that title. The datus power depends upon the faithfulness of his followers. Kaya wala bas life followers na. The Maharlika were believed to be the descendants of mixed marriages between a ruling dynasty and one out of power. The Timawa class enjoyed the rights to a portion of the barangay land. An alipin was a man indebted to another. Two types of alipin. One alipin na mamahay or householder, alipin with land rights. He owned a house. He came at his master's call to work on the fields and do other services. 2. The alipin sa gigilid. Gilid is the part of the house where the stove is, were members of the master's household who ate from their master's pot. D. Education. Writing system by bayin. Training consisted of informal education through apprenticeship, domestic chores, and practical occupational honing of skills in hunting, farming, etc. Theoretical, moral, and spiritual awakening, worship, laws, codes, education aimed for survival and conformity, enculturation, result of individual experiences by product of the accumulation of race experiences. 3. Hispanization of the Philippines. The 15th and 16th centuries brought an era of worldwide exploration and expansion that resulted from the desire to gain new lands, power, and wealth for the explorers and their countries. The goals of the Europeans further expansion can be summarized into God, gold, and glory, or 3Gs: God, gold, and glory. Spanish expeditions of the Philippines. A. Ferdinand Magellan. Spanish expeditions in the Philippines. A. Ferdinand Magellan. Magellan led an expedition for Spain to Malacca by sailing west. Accompanying him were Father Pedro de Valderrama, fleet captain, Antonio Pigafetta, chronicler, Duarte de Barbosa, Magellan's brother-in-law, and his Malay slave Enrique of Malacca, acting as interpreter. 5 ships of Magellan: Trinidad, Concepcion, Santiago, San Antonio, and Victoria. March 16, 1521, they saw the island of Samar. Had blood compact with Raha Colombo. Such expedition brought him into a group of islands which they called Archipelago of Saint Lazarus, Lazarus, later renamed Philippines after King Philip II of Spain. They anchored on Homonhon and later sailed to an islet south of Leyte where they celebrated the first Mass on March 31, 1521, while Magellan was killed in a battle battle ng batilya with Mactan, Chieftain Lapu-Lapu. Nevertheless, his expedition paved the way for the eventual colonization of the Philippines by Spain. Other Spanish expeditions in the Philippines, Loaiza Expedition 1525 to 26 by Father Juan Garcia Joffre. Hindi ako kapalang basa. De Loaiza. Cabot Expedition 1526 to 1530 by Sebastian Cabot. Saavedra Expedition 1525 to 1528 by Alvaro de Saavedra. Saavedra de Are. Villalobos Expedition 1542 to 1546 by Roy Lopez de Villalobos. Roy Lopez de Villalobos. Miguel Lopez de Legazpi 1565. Miguel Lopez de Legazpi arrived to establish a permanent settlement in the Philippines island. He concluded blood compact with Sikatuna, chief of Bohol, then a treaty of friendship with Raja Tupas of Cebu, where the first Spanish settlement, San Miguel, was established. It was later renamed Santissimo Nombre de Jesus, City of the Most Holy Name of Jesus. Further colonization was made in the Visayas and up north. The Goiti fortified Manila, which was under Sulaiman, a Muslim chieftain. In 1571, Legazpi established Manila as capital of the Philippines. 1571 niya established tayo. Political changes. Government was centralized. For 250 years, Philippines was administered through the Council of Indies, which transmitted to the Governor-General of the Philippines the royal decree that served as a guide in administration of the country. The Spaniard implemented reduction plan of Father Juan de Plasencia, which required the natives to live in the area near the church. Governor-General, the king's official representative to the colony, issues superior decrees. Ang superior decrees ang Governor-General, President of the Audiencia, which is the highest court on the colony, Viceroyal Patron in the Philippines, which means that he can appoint minor officials and parish priests. Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Complace. Ang spelling kay Cumplase. Complace, the right of the governor to suspend the operation of a royal decree coming from the king, if in his opinion said order would not be beneficial to the colony. The usual formula in exercising the right to complace was, I obey but do not comply. Checks to gubernatorial powers. Audiencia or Royal Audiencia, established in 1583 to act as the Supreme Court of the colony, serve as advisory body to the governor, and audited the expenditures of the government. Redentia, judicial institution headed by the incoming Governor-General and other Spanish officials for the purpose of punishing those guilty of corruption, but the case may be appealed to the king for clemency. Visitador General or Visitador General, investigator sent by the king or an official dispatched by the Council of Indies in Spain to check the behavior of the high officials in the colony. Official government started with encomiendas, which were rewards given by the Spanish who helped in the pacification of the country. Encomienderos were empowered to collect taxes, protect, and convert native to Catholicism. Due to abuses perpetrated by encomienderos, encomiendas were abolished and replaced by a system of provincial governments. Provinces are called alcaldia, headed by alcalde mayor. Ang provinces are called alcaldia, headed by alcalde mayor, or pacified areas, and corregimientos, headed by corregidors. For unpacified areas, corregidors. Cities are called ayuntamiento, headed by two alcalde. Towns are called pueblos, headed by Gobernador Silio. Barangays were retained and headed by a cabeza de barangay. Economic policies, mostly characterized by monopoly that favored or benefited the Spaniards. A taxation started as tribute of 8 reales, a 8 reals, about 1 peso. Ang 8 reals kay 1 peso. Ang spelling niya ka Reales, reales or reals, about 1 peso. This was abolished in 1884, and personal cedula pool tax based on income was constituted for residents 18 years of age and above. B. Forced labor or polo y servicio. Male from 16 to 60 years were required to render service to government for 40 days, supposedly with daily allowance and food ration, but the polistas or laborers were made to work without daily allowances and meager food ration or ration. Si encomienda became the source of corruption of officials, particularly in the sharing of produce between encomienda workers and landowners. Encomienda means the land granted to the serving Spaniards who serve the government. Sumuka ng past tense eh. The galleon trade of Manila. Acapulco trade. Products coming from Manila were shipped to Acapulco, Mexico, on trade vessel called galleons with regular performance of forced labor. 3. Tobacco monopoly. So, posible na kaliwat na Mexico ang Pilipinas. Ha! Mexican. Kaluwag ba ni akong katapad na bata? Uy, napay-iring dali ning. Hoy! Dali! Kay si Nathan. Dulog-dulog ka na. Pagpuyo. Ay, kuya, kaluwag ba ni nga bata? Ito ni Agi si Nicole. Saba kay puno. Tobacco monopoly or tobacco. Saan pagbasa ni? Started by Jose Vasco E. Vargas, the colonial government controlled every aspect of tobacco in the Philippines. The government determined the plantation site, set a quota on the quantity to be planted and harvested by the farmers, and the amount to be paid from them lasted for 100 years. Kadukay, no? 4. Religious influence. Considered as the greatest legacy of Spain to the Philippines was Catholicism. This was made possible by the work of the early missionaries. The first to fifth missionaries kay first Augustinians, second Franciscans, 3 Jesuits, 4 Dominicans, 5 Recollects. Kay Sir Melvin F. JDR ni. F. JDR. Augustinians, Franciscans, Jesuits, Dominicans, Recollects. 5. Culture and society. Festivities and holidays. January, New Year's Day. March to April, Semana Santa. October 31 to November 2, Day of the Dead. December 24, Noche Buena. December 25, Christmas. 6. Education. Training was done formally through the A. Parochial schools established such as the colegios, beatenios, and seminaries. Education was considered a status symbol, a privilege, and not a right. Teaching was done through A. Dictation and memorization, B. Other techniques such as moro-moro and sinaculo. The media of instruction used words A. Spanish with indigenous language, B. Doctrina Cristiana. Educational Decree of 1863 introduced a system of public education that opened opportunities to Filipinos for higher learning. Father Manuel Blanco's first scientist in the Philippines, another first scientist in the Philippines, Father Manuel Blanco, the Prince of Botanists, sana all Prince, wrote Flora de Filipinas, which was published in 1837. This book identified 1,200 kinds of plants in the country. Education was controlled by friars. Religious orders founded the first school and colleges. University of Santo Tomas was the first university founded in 1611. University of Santo Tomas, oldest school. College of San Ignacio, first college for boy in 1589. College of Santa Protenciana, first college for girls in 1594. Racial hierarchy. Peninsulares, full-blooded Spaniards born in Spain. Insulares, born. Sunog akong pag-pronounce. Born. Insulares, full-blooded Spaniards born in the Philippines. Ang una, Peninsulares, full-blooded Spaniards born in Spain. Insulares, full-blooded Spaniards born in the Philippines. Tornatras, person of mixed Spanish, Chinese, and Austronesian descent. Karon play ko kadungog ano. Tornatras, person of mixed Spanish, Chinese, and Austronesian descent. Mestizo de Español, person of mixed Spanish and Austronesian descent. Mestizo de Sangley, person of mixed Chinese and Austronesian ancestry. Grabe naman yun, Sangley, full-blooded Chinese. Karon ba ako kabaluan yung Sangley, full-blooded Chinese. Indio, full-blooded Austronesian. The birth of Filipino nationalism, early resistance to Spanish rule, revolt, and immediate cause. Ay, kapo yan yung pronunciation ay. Tabaan yung mga iro eh. Revolt. Lakandula and Sulaiman. Immediate cause kay Lavisares disregard of Legazpi's promise that Spain would recognize the patrimonial lands of the kings of Tondo. Magalat's revolt, Magalat's encouragement of the people of Cagayan to rebel against the Spanish government, Sumoroy's rebellion, government's enforcement of the order to send people of Palapag, Samar to work in the shipyard of Cavite, Maniago's revolt, hatred of Bandala, and resentment of the frequent recruitment of Pampanganos to cut timber for the construction of Spanish galleons. Social kayo sila kay ikat pa sila timber. Diego Silang revolt. Silang's resentment of his imprisonment due to his request for the abolition of the hatred tribute in Vigan. Gabriela Silang's revolt. Assassination of her husband Diego Silang. Palares revolt, hatred of the excessive tribute, and abusive officials from Binalatongan, which inspired him to rally the people against Spain. Basi Revolt, prohibition of the drinking of homemade wine impeding Ilocos Norte owing to wine monopoly. Daan na rin palahubog sila. Ang Filipino. Tamblot's revolt, Tamblot's exhortation that people of Bohol return to their old faith. Bangkao's revolt, Bangkao's encouragement of the people of Limasawa to defend their traditional religion. Tapar's revolt, the killing of followers of Tapar's religious cult by the Friar of Oton, Panay. The Gohoy's revolt, the liquidation of Father Giuseppe Lamberti and other Spanish priests triggered by the refusal of the church to give Christian burial to Francisco de Gojoy's brother. Revolt of Hermano Puli, persecution of the followers of the Confradia. Confradia de San Jose founded by Apolinario de la Cruz. Growth of Filipino nationalism, devotion to or advocacy of national unity and independence, developed due to the following factors. 1. Spread of liberalism. When Spain gradually exposed the Philippines to the international commerce in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, liberal ideas from Europe filtered in. 2. Racial prejudice. The Spaniards commonly regarded the Filipino natives as belonging to the interior race and called them Indios. Binuang ang mislatan trespassing. 3. Secularization controversy. 4. Cavite Mutiny in 1878. Cavite Mutiny in 1878. Hala, 1878. Mali dahil. Cavite Mutiny in 1872. Diyatra na akong pizza sa Cavite Mutiny. 1872 ang correct. A rebellion against Governor General Rafael Izquierdo under the leadership of Sergeant Lamadrid. February 17, 1872, execution of Gomborza by the order of Governor General Izquierdo. Campaign of reforms started with the formation by the middle class of a propaganda movement calling for the assimilation of the Philippines to Spain. Propaganda movement, peaceful campaign for reforms geared towards changing the political and social order on the country under the Spanish rule. Aims of propaganda: make the Philippines a province of Spain, equality of Filipinos and Spaniards, sabi nung i-equal pa sila, wanted representation of the Spanish Cortes. La Solidaridad, the organ of propaganda edited by Marcelo H. Del Pilar. Diaryong Tagalog, nationalistic newspaper edited by Marcelo H. Del Pilar. Colonial period propagandist. Graciano Lopez Haina, publisher of La Solidaridad, pen name kay Fray Butod and Diego Laura. Marcelo H. Del Pilar, the editor and co-publisher of the La Solidaridad, and wrote under the name Plaridel. Dolores Manapat, Piping Dilat at Pudu. Piping Dilat and Pudu. Antonio Lona wrote for La Solidaridad under the name Taga-Ilog. Jose Maria Panganiban wrote for La Solidaridad under the name Chumapa. La Solidaridad was established on February 15, 1889. Jose Rizal, Lima Salang at Launlaan, Apolinario Mabini, Paralitiko, Andres Bonifacio, Agapitong Bagumbahay. Bagumbahay lagi dito, diba? Bagumbayan mo. Basta Bagumbahay na, Andre. Mariano Ponce, Pikbalang, Naning at Kalipulaco, Juan Luna Potasio, Jose de la Cruz Josing Sisiu, Pio Valenzuela, Madlang Awa, Melchora Aquino, Tandang Sora, Emilio Acento Dimas Ilaw. La Liga Filipina, a civic society of Filipino patriots organized by Rizal when he arrived in Manila from Europe. Aims of the organization to unite the whole archipelago into one vigorous and homogeneous organization. Mutual protection in every want and necessity, defense against all violence and injustice, encouragement of instruction, agriculture and commerce, and study the application of reforms. KKKR, Kataas-taasang Kagalang-galangang Katipunan ng mga Anak ng Bayan, a secret society founded on July 7, 1892 by Andres Bonifacio and a handful trusted friends who met in the house of Deodato Arellano. Aims of KKK, political, economic, and civic. RPEC, political, economic, and civic. First set of officers of the Katipunan Supreme Council, Deodato Arellano President, Andres Bonifacio, Ladislao Diwa Fiscal, Valentin Diaz Treasurer, Teodoro Plata Secretary. Roman Basa replaced Arellano in 1893. Not satisfied with the performance of Basa, Bonifacio decided to assume the presidency of the Katipunan. Andres Bonifacio, Supremo ng Katipunan, brain of the revolution and great plebeian, wrote of Decalogo or Ten Commandments titled Katungkulang gagawin ng mga anak ng bayan to lay down the guidelines for the citizenship. Emilio Jacinto, brain of the Katipunan, wrote the famous Cartilla. Gregoria de Jesus Bonifacio's wife was called the Lacambini of the Katipunan. Katipunan membership, category, and password. First grade kay Katipon, anak ng bayan ang password. Category second grade, Kawal. Ang password kay Gumborza. Third grade, muna siya ang category din, Bayani. Ang password kay Rizal. Take note, important events in Philippine history. July 3, 1892, La Liga Filipina, founded by Rizal, was to be a sort of mutual aid and self-help society, dispensing scholarship funds and legal aid, loaning capital, and setting up cooperatives. The League's motto, Unus Inter Omnium, one like all, Unus Inter Omnium, one like all, serve as an avowal of their ideals. July 7, 1892, foundation of Kataas-taasan Kagalang-galangang na Katipunan ng mga Anak ng Bayan or KKK with a radial platform to secure independence and freedom of the Philippines by force. August 19, 1896, the Spanish authorities discovered the Katipunan when Teodoro Patiño exposed what he knew to Father Mariano Hill. August 23, 1896, in the yard of Juan Ramos, the son of Melchora Aquino, the Katipuneros tore up their cédulas shouting, "Long live the Philippines," thus making the so-called cry of Pugadlawin. It officially started the Philippine Revolution against Spain. Ahon ako. August 30, 1896, Governor General Ramon Blanco issued a decree declaring the provinces of Manila, Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Bulacan, Pampanga, Tarlac, and Nueva Ecija in a state of war and placing them under martial law. Nag-martial law atong August 30, 1896. December 30, 1896, execution of Rizal. March 22, 1897, the Tejeros Convention, the Magdalo faction under Baldomero Aguinaldo and Magdiwang under Mariano Alvarez agreed to convene in Tejeros, now part of General Trias, to settle their differences and to establish a new government that would replace the Katipunan. May 10, 1897, execution of Bonifacio brothers Andres and Procopio after being found guilty of treason and sedition by a military court. November 1, 1897, establishment of Biak na Bato Republic. The Biak na Bato Constitution was signed. It was prepared by Felix Ferrer and Isabelo. Wala yun eh. Manit mayak-yak. And Isabelo. Asan to? November 1, 1890. Dire na ko sa November 1, 1897. Establishment of Biak na Bato Republic. The Biak na Bato Constitution was signed. It was prepared by Felix Ferrer and Isabelo Artacho, who copied almost word for word the Cuban Constitution known as Jimanguayo Constitution. December 14, 1897, Pact of Biak na Bato, a ceasefire between the Spanish colonial Governor-General Fernando Primo de Rivera and the revolutionary leader Emilio Aguinaldo was signed. Ay, asa kung ano na Google. YouTube. 5. American colonization, coming of the Americans. April 25, 1898, the United States declared war on Spain following the sinking of the battleship Maine in Havana Harbor. On February 15, 1898, May 1, 1898, George Dewey led a U.S. naval squadron into Manila Bay in the Philippines and destroyed the anchored Spanish fleet in a leisurely morning engagement that caused only 7 American seamen wounded. Manila itself was occupied by U.S. troops by August. May 19, 1898, Aguinaldo arrived in the Philippines and continued the Filipinos' fight against the Spaniards. May 24, 1898, Aguinaldo declared dictatorial government. June 12, 1898, between 4 and 5 in the afternoon, Aguinaldo, in the presence of a huge crowd, proclaimed the independence of the Philippines in Kawit, Cavite. June 12, 1898. The Philippine national flag, made in Hong Kong by Marcela Aguinaldo, was officially hoisted for the first time, and Marcha Nacional Filipino Philippine National March, composed by Julian Felipe, was played. The act of the Declaration of Independence, which was prepared by Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista, was also read. June 23, 1898, Aguinaldo changed the form of government from dictatorial to revolutionary government. August 13, 1898, mock Battle of Manila, Spaniards surrendered to Americans. Governor-General Diego de los Rios, the last Spanish governor-general in the Philippines, transferred his headquarters to Iloilo. August 14, 1898, headquartered to Iloilo, Americans established military government. December 10, 1898, the Spanish-American War ended with the signing of the Treaty of Paris. It established the independence of Cuba, ceded Puerto Rico and Guam to to the United States, and allowed the victorious power to purchase the Philippines islands from Spain for $20 million. Felipe Agoncillo was given the task of persuading the U.S. government to recognize the Malolos Republic in the Paris peace talks. December 21, 1898, U.S. President McKinley proclaimed the policy benevolent assimilation. He emphasized that Filipinos should be trained for self-government. The first Philippine Republic, Malolos Republic, September, September, the first Philippine Republic or Malolos Republic. September 15, 1898, the Malolos Congress convened the Baraswain Church, and Pedro Paterno was elected as its president. January 21, 1899, the Malolos Constitution, drafted by a committee headed by Felipe Calderon, was proclaimed, transforming the government into what is known today as the Philippine Republic. January 23, 1899, inauguration of the first Philippine Republic, popularly known as the Malolos Republic, amidst colorful ceremonies at the Baraswain Church, Malolos, Bulacan, with Aguinaldo as its president. Malolos Republic, the first republic in Asia. The Ay, unsa naman ka kuya? Ay, ang iring madulog mo. Ay. Kalimi. Ah, ayaw na natin. El Heraldo de la Revolution, of official newspaper of the Republic. The Philippine-American War, 1899-1902. On February 4, 1899, an American soldier, Private William Grayson, shot a Filipino soldier at the bridge of San Juan, Manila. This marked the beginning of the Philippine-American War, which lasted for 3 years and resulted in the death of over 4,200 American and over 20,000 Filipino combatants. The capture of Aguinaldo. On March 23, 1901, carrying the order of General Arthur General Arthur MacArthur, General Frederick Funston and his troops captured Aguinaldo in Palanan, Isabela, with the help of some Filipinos called the Macabebe Scouts. Grabe, kirib nga. who had joined the American side. Makabebe gyud sila. On April 1, 1901, at the Malacañang Palace in Manila, Aguinaldo swore an oath accepting the authority of the United States over the Philippines and pledging his allegiance to the American government. On April 19, he issued he issued a proclamation for formal surrender to the United States, telling his followers to lay down their weapons and give up the fight. Continuous resistance against the Americans, General Miguel Malvar took over the leadership of the Filipino War against the Americans. He launched all-out offensive against the American-held towns in the Batangas region. General Simeon Ola, last revolutionary general to surrender to the Americans, Macario Sakay established the Republika ng Katagalugan. Macario Sakay established the Republika ng Katagalugan. On July 4, 1902, President Theodore Roosevelt officially declared an end to the Philippine-American War after the surrender of Malvar, Sakay, and other Filipino leaders. American colonial policy. Military government in military government 1898 to 1901. Under this setup, Philippines was governed directly by the President of the United States. The powers of the U.S. presidents were exercised in country by American military government. Military governors in the country, Wesley Merritt, Elwes Otis, and Arthur MacArthur. Wesley Merritt, Elwell Otis, and Arthur MacArthur, military governors in the country. The first Philippine Commission, Schurman Commission, headed by Dr. Jacob Schurman, to investigate conditions in the islands and make recommendations. The second Philippine Commission, Taft Commission. Chaired by William Howard Taft. Muna ang Taft Commission. The second Philippine Commission kay Taft Commission, chaired by William Howard Taft, tasked to establish a civil government in the country and train Filipinos in self-government. 2. Civil government. William Howard Taft, first civil governor general, adopted the policy of the Philippines for the Filipinos. Frank Murphy, last civil governor general, Philippine Commission, lawmaking body, Philippine Philippine Bill, Organic Act of 1902 or Copper Act, doon siya It provided the extension of the United States Bill of Rights to the Filipinos and guarantees the establishment of an elective Philippines Assembly, appointment of 2 Filipinos resident commissioners to represent the country, taas pa siya, grabe. Gapo ni siya. Ma-shortcut ko. Shortcut. Kaya ano ko diyan The Philippines is a rugged land of mountains and plains, bays and lakes, rivers and waterfalls, valleys and volcanoes. It Irregulator cons- its irregular coastline stretches 10,850 status miles, twice as long as the coastline of the United States. Nashock ako. Mount Apo is the mountain with 9,600 feet high. Philippine Deep is the lowest spot in the Philippines, situated off the Pacific coast of the archipelago. San Juanico Strait is the narrowest strait in the world. Central Plain in Luzon is the rice granary of the Philippines. Rio Grande de Cagayan or Cagayan River is the largest river in the country. Laguna de Bay is the largest lake in the country. Philippines has 18 regions. Ay, kung wala ni na outro. Region 1, Ilocos Norte. Region 2, Cagayan Valley. Region 3, Central Luzon. Region 4, Calabarzon. Mimaropa, Southwestern Tagalog Region. Region 5, Bicol Region. Region 6, Western Visayas. Region 7, Central Visayas. Region 8, Eastern Visayas. Region 9, Zamboanga Peninsula. Region 10, Northern Mindanao. Region 11, Davao Region. Region 12, Soc-Sargen. Region 13, Caraga, Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao or ARMM. National Capital Region or NCR. Cordillera Administrative Region or CAR. Region 18, Negros Island. Ano to? Negros Island Region. Tapos, Philippine Geography. The Philippines, found in the Western Pacific Ocean, has an astronomical location for sa may pagbasa basta asterisk siya 23 to 21, then asterisk 25 to north latitude and 116 asterisk to 107 asterisk east longitude. It is located in the southern portion of Asia. Its relative locations: Taiwan on the north, South China Sea, and Vietnam on the west, Pacific Ocean on the east, Sulawesi and Indonesia on the south, and Malaysia and Singapore on the southwest. Philippines is composed of 7,641 inlands, 7,641 islands, inlands. Philippines is composed of 7,641 islands with a total land area of 300,000 square kilometers. Manila is the capital city. Three groups of islands: Luzon, 141,395 square kilometers. Mindanao, ang three groups of islands kay Luzon, 141,395 square kilometers, ang Mindanao 101,999 square kilometers, and Visayas 56,606 square kilometers. Iami Isle is the northernmost point, which is 78 miles from Taiwan. Salawag Isle is the southernmost point, only 34 miles east of Borneo. Then world facts. Largest country, Russia. Largest city, Tokyo, Japan. Greatest archipelago, Indonesia. Largest peninsula, Arabian Peninsula. Largest sea, Mediterranean Sea. Largest river, Amazon River. Largest desert, desert, Kay, Sahara Desert, desert, desert. Okay, bala na siya eh. Largest island, Greenland. Longest mountain range, Andes Mountains. Largest bay, Bay of Bengai o Bengay, yun sa may Bengai. Deepest trench, Mariana Trench. Longest river, Nile River. Largest gulf, Gulf of Mexico. Largest lake, Caspian Sea. Geography. Geography comes from the Greek words geo and graphia. Literally, geography means earth description, a science that deals with the description, distribution, and interaction of the diverse physical, biological, and cultural features of the earth's surface. Merriam-Webster. It is the collection of facts intended to give a complete picture of a continent, a state, or region. James and Robinstein, 1989. World Geography, biggest to smallest. Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe, Australia. Five major oceans: Pacific, North and South Pacific; Atlantic, North and South Atlantic; Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean, and Arctic Ocean. Diba? Tapulan na kayo. Pagitaon bang asa. Goodbye na yung matulog ng inyong lola. Sayang ko na pa Philippine presidents. Dirita balik. The Philippine-American War, 1899 to 1902. On February 4, 1899, an American soldier, Private William Grayson, shot a Uma naman ko din. Ang dili na ko eh. Dili lang. Bye and thank you. Congrats. And God bless. Future LP this March 19, 2022. Bye and thank you.